Hey guys, this is John Payne
And Korey Kashmir.
from Efricon Web Marketing. Big news last day or so in the search world. Google has made some changes, and it looks like they're still kind of beta testing it with the way that they show local search listings. So what we've done here is I've done a search in Google, and in this case, I'm actually getting the old results that a lot of people might still be getting for a few days, maybe in a couple weeks. My search here is computer training Maryland, right? So I'm looking for a place where I can go get some computer training in Maryland. You would see that the typical, 3 paid listings at the very top, more sponsored listings over on the right-hand side, and then what we would call the one box local search listings. It's kind of in the center of the screen. And notice that in this case, you don't see a single organic listing above the fold on what is about a 1024 screen resolution. So a fairly common screen resolution here. So the first organic listing, you actually have to scroll a decent little bit to get to what really is the #1 result, trainace.com. Now this is actually a client of ours. So they rank #1 organically, although they do not have a real strong presence in local search. So once upon a time, there were no one box listings, and they had the #1 result, and they were right here at the top, and they got a whole bunch of traffic from this keyword. Still get a bunch of traffic from it, but their visibility is less. So a little further down the page, because these local listings are taking that precedence. So let's flash and let's see what the new version looks like. I click over to another browser. Notice the map has moved from the middle of the page over to the right hand side. Let me flip back and forth there. Old, new, old, new. So the map's moved over on the right hand side, and from the old version, the individual local listings are actually gone. They're now just kind of integrated within the search results. Notice the first listing, our client has a local piece. The second and third websites do not. The fourth, the fifth, the sixth, they all have local placements. So in this case, and we're trying to answer the question this morning, this change, does this help or hurt our clients? And for the most part, it seems to be a positive. There's cases where it's one or the other, but in this particular case, it's really very helpful. You have a website that was ranked #1 in both scenarios, and in this case, that #1 is now above the fold, and in fact, it's getting a fairly large piece of screen real estate, along with a couple of things that draw some attention to it. The reviews, the little local placement, and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and there was a couple things to note. This actual client, Train Ace, they did not have a local listing, well, at least in the top 10 or so results, so they never showed on this local map here. But now that they're showing, Google actually added the address and added a marker and placed them on the map. So they actually gained a local placement out of their organic result when this new change took place.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And we've basically, I think what we've seen in a handful of tests this morning is that in some cases, if you had a really good local placement, that local placement can help your organic listing jump up a few spots because Google's kind of integrating the two and they're taking both into consideration. But the inverse of that's also true. If you had a really good organic placement and maybe your local wasn't so strong, like in this case, it now is your organic listing is helping out your local exposure. So I think the key takeaway is that both are still important. And doing both well now seems to have an even bigger payoff, especially if you're #1 for both, because now you get that much larger share of the screen real estate. Whereas in the old version here, several different websites all you see the top 7 there, whereas here you're only seeing 2 or 3 above the fold.
Yeah, and they definitely put a little bit of weight too on the, like John was saying, on the organic results. So comparing the two. We've noticed that the top 5 results in the new results interface actually pretty much stayed the same with citation to the map. So I mean, there's a couple differences in there, but the organic results, they tend to bring all those up and keep really those top 5 pretty much the same with integration of those old map results into those.
Yeah, it seems like if you were top 4 or 5 for organic, and so long as you have a local listing, you're probably staying top 4 or 5. If you were somewhere in the 7-8 range and you had a strong local listing, it can kind of bump you up a few spots. And anyhow, we're running out of time on the video here, so we're coming back with more. Thanks so much.